What's happening, my Jack family? Coach Scott here, jacked40.com. Today's video, I'm going to share the best calorie surplus to build muscle after 40 and tie that into how much weight you should aim to gain each and every month to get jacked after 40, all based on the current evidence and research that's out there. Now, there may be some of my fellow men over 40 who are wondering if we can actually build muscle after 40, especially with decades of lifting under our belt. And the answer is absolutely yes, we can, but sure, it is definitely at a slower rate of gain. Now, for myself personally, 9 years ago to this date, I weighed a whopping 137 pounds. This was at the end of an 8-month cutting phase where I dropped nearly 50 pounds. My big transformation that really set me on the path to where I'm at today. Now, this past March, when I had a 3D body scan, I weighed 146 pounds at 7.4% body fat, which is leaner than what I was when I weighed 137 pounds 9 years ago. So that was about an 8.5 year difference in time span. I'd say I gained probably about a pound per year during that time, which really kind of ties into what the evidence supports we should be gaining at this stage in the game with years and decades of lifting experience under our belts. The widely accepted estimates of how much muscle the average guy can expect to gain per year based on years of training experience is your first year of training, you can expect to gain maybe 20 to 25 pounds of muscle that year. The second year of training, maybe 10 to 12. Third year of training, maybe 5 to 6 pounds. 4+ years of training, you're looking at 2 to 3 pounds per year. Basically, you see that every single year of training that you have under your belt, you can expect to gain half the amount of muscle each time. So the most in the beginning, then it continues to diminish each and every year after that. Can you continue to gain 2 to 3 pounds of muscle each and every year after 4 years of training? No, even that's gonna keep diminishing, which is kind of why you see where I'm at right now, maybe averaging about a pound of muscle per year if I'm lucky. But those are kind of the widely estimated amounts that you can gain a muscle per year. So if you've got decades of training under your belt and you're over 40, if you can gain a pound of muscle per year, that's freaking outstanding. I'm ecstatic with gaining a pound of muscle per year for the past 8-9 years or so, because just each little pound makes a significant difference to the overall appearance of your physique. And more than anything, it's just refining your physique. So it takes effort, it takes focus. More than anything, it takes proper training. So these estimates of how much muscle you can gain per week are based on proper training. So if you have not trained for a few years, you've taken a little layoff, yeah, you can expect to gain more muscle initially if you're over 40. Or if your training has just been subpar and all of a sudden you get on a training plan that is more strategic, more optimally programmed for us men over 40, you may experience a greater muscle gain in a short period of time. Now, based on the evidence that us advanced lifters trying to build muscle after 40 can expect to gain maybe 2 to 3 pounds of muscle per year, the widely accepted rate of weight gain per month that you'll see in the literature is anywhere from 0.25 to 0.5% of your total body weight per month. So if you're a 200-pound bro, you'd be looking at gaining about 1 pound per month, which is a far cry from the typical bulking and cutting approach that you see out there. Now, let's compare these two examples, the evidence-based approach where you're gaining 1 pound per month and the old school bodybuilding approach where you're bulking and cutting. So scenario number 1, where you're gaining 1 pound per month during a 6-month muscle building phase, how much muscle do you think you'd gain during that time? Let's say we're being overly optimistic and we gained 2 pounds of muscle during that time. That means we gained 4 pounds of fat in that process. So we're gonna have to go through a little cutting phase to burn that off. And it really should only take a 4-week mini cut where you're dropping 1 pound of fat per week in order to shed the extra fat and reveal the 2 pounds of muscle that you gained. Now into scenario number 2, where you're being more aggressive with your bulking approach and gaining 3 pounds per month during a 6-month muscle building phase. Do you think with this more aggressive scenario you would gain more muscle? Well, according to the research, which I'll get to in a moment, you won't. So during this 6-month muscle building phase, you now gained 18 pounds. 2 of those might be muscle again, but now you're looking at 16 pounds of fat that you need to burn off. And that's gonna take you a good 4 months if you're taking a good, smart, slow, and steady approach where you're gonna preserve as much muscle mass as possible to burn that fat. So in scenario 1, after 1 month of cutting, you're back to building again. Whereas scenario 2, after 1 month of cutting, you still have 3 more months of cutting ahead of you, and you gotta hope that you don't end up losing any of the muscle mass that you gained during that muscle building process because you are extending your diet phase. So with the slow and steady approach, you're spending more time throughout the year in an anabolic state compared to the typical bulking and cutting approach. 2010 study on elite athletes found that the group who consumed a smaller surplus experienced the same amount of muscle gains and strength gains as the group who consumed 600 calories more than them. So really, it doesn't make sense to consume in excess calories to gain more fat just to have to spend more time burning off. Unless, of course, you really freaking enjoy dieting, which I sure as hell don't. Based on this evidence, if you're trying to build muscle after 40, I recommend you consume just a gentle surplus. Eric Helms in his Muscle and Strength Nutrition Pyramid book recommends a 100 calorie surplus for advanced lifters. Lyle McDonald recommends just a 60 calorie surplus for advanced lifters. So again, a very, very gentle surplus. Now what makes this difficult is that maintenance level calories, it's more of a range than a specific number. So it all depends on basically your overall activity for the day. You could be on your feet a little bit longer today and burn an extra 60 calories, maybe even burn an extra 100 calories just because your movements are maybe even the thermic effect of food. Maybe you consume a little bit more protein today and the whole digestion process burns up more calories than you think you are burning throughout the day. So it's very difficult to gauge, which is really why it's important to kind of pay attention to your scale weight throughout you go. And again, if you're looking at gaining a pound per month, you're looking at gaining a quarter pound per week, which is really difficult to measure. I mean, you can fluctuate that from day to day or throughout the day. It's very, very tough to gauge this level of progress. So you really want to make sure that you are slowly trending your weight upwards in that pound per month type of range. And this is where you'll find the only advantage of the typical bulking and cutting approach. Because you are gaining weight at a faster rate, you'll know for sure you are in a surplus. Whereas with the gentle surplus approach to building muscle after 40, there may be some days you think you're in a surplus, but you may actually not be in a surplus. You may be right around your maintenance level calories, but the trade-off is that you're going to be spending more time in an anabolic state throughout the year, and there's nothing really wrong with having a day or two here and there at maintenance level calories. As long as you're seeing your weight trending upwards, you're gaining 1 pound per month, you know you are in a surplus, you know you're in a state of building muscle, and you know that you're not going to have to suffer through 4 months of dieting afterwards. Because although you're going to know if you take that bulking approach, you know for sure you're in a surplus, you sure as hell are going to know that you are in a deficit when you are suffering through a 16-week cutting phase to burn off the excess fat that you gained during the 6-month muscle building phase. And if you're not sure what your maintenance level calories are, I'll include a link down below in the description to the calculator on my website. You'll enter your age, height, weight, and activity level. It's going to give you your TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure. That's how much you would consume to maintain your weight. So you want to bump that up by about 100 calories per day to build muscle after 40. I hope you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. And if you know a fellow bro who'd benefit from watching today's video, do them a favor and share it with them. More than anything, I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your insights, share your feedback and experiences with me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, do so now. Smash that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. Before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Jacked After 40. Have yourself an amazing day. I'll catch you in the next video.